Holger Rune has weighed in on the conditions of the courts in Indian Wells following multiple complaints from Daniil Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev has received some support for his complaints in Indian Wells as Holger Rune also hit out at the court conditions. The world number 6 has moaned about the slow courts in his last 3 matches despite making it to Saturday's semi-final, and Rune has now echoed his issues with the courts, comparing them to clay. Medvedev has aired his grievances about the courts in Indian Wells in his last 3 matches, threatening to take a slow toilet break to mimic the speed they played at and claiming they weren't hard courts. The 27-year-old was also heard grumbling about the conditions after falling and losing a fingernail on the court in his quarterfinal win over Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Despite his protests, the Russian has reached the semi-final for the first time in Indian Wells, previously never getting beyond the round of 16. But another player who has already crashed out of the tournament has now made the same complaints about the speed of the surface. 7th seed Rune lost his second match in Indian Wells to former world number 3 Stan Wawrinka. And he later admitted it was difficult to adjust to the change in conditions after coming from the Acapulco ATP 500, despite both tournaments being played on a hard court. When I play matches, the technique typically lags a little, and the changing conditions with climate and court and different balls mean that I have to adapt to how high or low the ball bounces on the surface, and whether the ball is heavy in the evening and light in the evening the day, Rune told TV2. But the 19-year-old said it had been especially difficult in Indian Wells, which was playing slower than usual. As such, I am used to it. But there has been a lot of difference in the conditions this year, I think, he explained. Extremely slow courts here, in Indian Wells, and heavy balls, almost so that you had to play clay tennis mentally, and completely different compared to Mexico, where they played with a much lighter ball.